Hello everybody and welcome back to some more FoolCraft 3. In today's episode, we have a whole lot of things planned. I have 6 projects I want to get done today. They are all properly planned out and working, as in I've actually worked out all the items I need for it, hopefully, and they shouldn't be too difficult to get. And I've also tested this on some testing worlds just to make sure it will actually work the way I intend it to, and it does. So unless I mess up something really badly, then we should have a whole lot more stuff automated. That is the goal today. It is to automate a whole lot of things and just upgrade a few things as well that we have, such as the Canola Farm over here, the mob farm over there. Those are 2 things that we definitely want to work on. I'm not going to attack that cat because it's a wither cat, I assume, and they are scary. Yes, you're a wither cat, and you're scary. So, the first thing I've already sorted and gotten ready, I've got everything in my bag of holding over here. It actually requires us to go to the cave over here, or the staircase down to here. So, let us quickly get to the bottom of there. Okay, so here we are at our little bedrock patch. Since last time, I have expanded it a tiny bit more. It was a 3x3 last time, now it's a 5x5, and that's actually for the sake of all the items I have in here. So the reason we have this bedrock patch is obviously to obtain grains of infinity, and what I've wanted to do ever since I've started using this is to automate that process. So in this bag of holding, I have everything we need for that and a little bit extra. So first off, I have a waystone. This waystone is just so we can get here a little bit quicker. I'm going to place that down later. I'm probably just going to put a little area over here for that, expand it a little. But basically, it's a relatively simple process for this. So we're going to put the vacuum chest here. We're going to lower its range a little bit. In fact, though, we need to put a filter on it. We're going to put a grain of infinity in there, and that is that working. Now, luckily, I think we have a bat form. We're going to need it. Have I not killed a bat yet? Fire bat? That might work. Okay, fire bat is going to have to be what we do, because we just need to be very small. I'm actually going to need to borrow a few blocks, which I completely forgot about. So we are going to need to do this. So we have a 3 high. We're going to place our dispenser, just a vanilla dispenser there, and a block detector there. We're then going to make a bunch of flint and steels. 9 of them in total, just to fill up that inventory. If we wanted to, we could have a drawer or something, just inserting into here. But for now, I think that's going to be fine. And the way this works is the dispenser will only place or use the flint and steel when it's powered, but also when it only has air in front of it. If there's fire already here, then it will not do it. This thing's going to only take in those, and all you got to do is take this bit of redstone and place that there. In fact, I've just realized I put this the wrong way. I think it's that way, or it might be this way. I think it's this way, if I am correct in remembering. I forgot it went a different way. So that should work. There we are. So in theory, we'll just wait here ever so quickly. But this should, I'm going to fix my map actually. There we are. This should, assuming the fire, like this is the thing, it's not a guaranteed drop. That's the only worry I have. But this should burn out. Okay, it didn't that time, but as you can see, it's going to do that. These all have 64 durability each. And as soon as that becomes an air block again or updates, it's going to power this redstone, and it's going to do that. We haven't been lucky so far, unfortunately. And if we look at the range, really we should only need to put it down to 1 by 1, or a radius of 1. To do that. But as soon as this gets this, I just want to make sure it's working. That's all. We're going to place down this waystone and then set this up so we can come back here instantly, which should also help for mining. Come on. Hey, there we are. So there's a grain of infinity, so that proves it works. I'm going to place that other one in there, and yeah, we'll have like a little 3x3 area over here just with the waystone, just so we can have a nice little area. I'm going to go back to being myself. There we are. Okay, then we just do that. We're going to need to put, I'm just going to call it bedrock. That'll be called that. We can then use this waystone, and we can go back to the Raymeric forest, and we can actually move where this is. So we're going to move it up. So we've got this forest here, and then we got the bedrock over here. So that is going to just be there for us to do that. And I am just going to have to make sure I chunk load it when I am obviously off the world, which actually brings me onto a point I have forgotten to mention until now. So we made this weird gadget over here, and this thing basically chunk loads it, you know. That's its purpose. However, we've not really been using its full effect, because when we logged off the world, off the single player server technically, it just stopped working because the world was no longer loaded. So what I've actually done is I have taken my old computer and just sort of freshened it up a bit, and I've added a server onto it. So that is currently running the world we are currently on, so that shouldn't cause any issues for me. I haven't had any issues with it yet, so we will have to see how it fares, you know, if any issues do arise. But we are currently on a server, so this will be loading. And I've also found out that it is what, where is it in terms of chunks? So it is here. So it does a 3x3 area. So this chunk, and this chunk. So it should be 9 chunks as far as I'm aware around it like this, are what is loaded by the weirding gadget. So we will need to make another one if we want to keep that working when we are not on the server. So that's that done. That's probably the most simple, or possibly the second most simple out of everything we want to do today. Next is most likely, I'm going to say, the most involved, or most not necessarily difficult, but biggest in terms of scale. And that thing is this canola farm. So currently we have a 9x9 canola farm. The reason for that is because of this growth crystal that only reaches a 9x9 area. However, due to my testing, I found out the with an octactic capacitor, a farming station will do a 15x15 area. So what I want to actually do is transform this into a 15x15 farm, which is going to be a 17x17 in the border, which is meaning a few changes are going to have to happen to the pathway. And with an octactic capacitor, we can then, you know, have a very, very large area of canola. However, that's going to mean that this isn't fully effective. So what I'm actually going to do is, not currently this second, but at a point in the future, I am going to create a few more growth crystals just to have them. And then we'll just have to upgrade those as time goes to the next tier and the tier after that. But, you know, they're relatively cheap for the moment if we just look them up. They are just really, prismarine is the only difficult thing. The prismarine and the prismarine shards and crystals for the sea lanterns. Everything else is just iron and compressed bones, which is 9 bones. Relatively easy to make. So what we need to do is turn this into a 17x17. So we're going to start from this corner. So we're going to move this post. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's going to mean this pathway is no longer in use. I'm going to get rid of this wood. And then this pathway is, I think, I haven't worked out how far it's going to go across here yet. Probably going to go to like up here, which means this house needs moving, or possibly just getting rid of, and a pathway is probably going to go between these two if I can do that. But I'm going to quickly go set that up. I've got some oak wood. Hopefully I don't need to harvest any more, but I've got it if I need it. And we're going to go set up the basic canola farm. Then we're going to go automate the not only the farming of it, but also, you know, the harvesting, the pressing of it, the fermenting of it, the empowering of the crystals, and putting the empowered oil into the generators to then power the whole cycle. That's going to be our power generation then once this is all set up. It's going to take a little while, but it's well worth it in the end. Okay, so the field is now fully done. As you can see, it is a 15x15 area. I have put 9 water sources in here just to make sure everything is hydrated, and I put in the growth crystal underneath the middle one, so it's going to do a 9x9 area there because it checks 2 blocks up, which is quite nice. And then when we get the tier 2 ones, which I think are those are the ones that act as water, we can just put them in the 9 spots once we make 9 of them. Currently we only have 1, so we just put it in the middle for the maximum effect, really, because if I put them in the corner, they're going to be missing out a load of area over here. So next thing we need to do is fill this field up, which we have these drawers full of the canola seeds and of the canola, which we can then turn into seeds in a crafting recipe. But I'm going to make the farming station do that. So the next thing, as you can probably tell by the fact I said that, is a farming station, which is relatively easy to make. We need 5 diamonds and an industrial machine chassis, which is now pretty easy since we've got the industrial powder coating already made. 2 iron, 2 electrical steel, which is just iron, coal, and silicon. And then energized bimetal gears, which is just grains of infinity, which we're now farming, some iron, and some energetic alloy, which is just gold, redstone, and glowstone. So we need to do that, and then we need to make an octactic capacitor because we need to make it do the 15 by 15 area. So that's going to require 2 double layer capacitors, 2 vibrant alloy, which requires us to get some ender pearls, glowstone, and then some more energetic alloy and some basic capacitors, more grains of infinity, which again we are farming at the moment, so that is all fine. So I'm going to get everything together for the farming station and the octactic capacitor, and then I'm going to borrow this capacitor bank over here just quickly to actually power the whole thing. But I need to just save the village, pretty much. It's scary. I need to light this place up more. And there we are. Farming station is now made. Accidentally just placed it down already. We need to head over to here now, and I'm going to have to quickly place a seed just so I don't destroy anything. There we are. Pick up 1 seed there. Place the farming station next to it. It has no power for the moment. That is fine. We have an octactic capacitor, and then we just need to put a hoe in there. So we're going to put an obsidian hoe just because it has that 8,000 durability. And right now I'm actually going to put it on act or never active, just because whilst it is, even if it's not doing anything, it still uses power. So we don't want to be wasting any power that we can sort of keep for the moment. But we will just grab that capacitor bank, which is just slowly, I think, increasing in power. I put some of the, I don't have any, oh, I do have it, crystallized oil in there, but we won't worry about that too much for the moment. We've got nearly 900k. That should be enough just to sort of kickstart this whole thing. And let's quickly sleep. There we are. So if we come over to here, grab a bunch of these, and we're going to place them in there for the moment. So that's 64 on each side. We're going to put this on here. It's not going to be like this normally. We're going to have a cable in between, just because this is going to be where we pull out and push in, and also put energy in. We'll do this. Just get it up to its max power, which that's all used up now, and then always active. What I might end up doing at some point, though it will be self-sufficient in a minute once we set everything up, is just have it as with active wave signal. But as I said, it will be it'll be self-sufficient with its energy, so it shouldn't be an issue. Oh, that was enough. I didn't think it would be enough. Okay, so now we're gonna just put it to not active for the moment, just because again, if I do this, it's gonna be using that power. With this, it will not. So we can wait for this stuff to grow. Oh, I already messed up. Come on, put your seeds back. It would be so much easier for me to just till this land properly, but I just want the machine to do it. So now we need to go put this generator back. That's also why we need some fences to stop them coming in there. But I'm going to quickly put this oil generator back, or this capacitor bank under or over the oil generator, which, speaking of which, can now be filled up with that bucket, and soon enough after should be able to be filled up with the other bucket. And yeah, that is now in theory set up to harvest. Now it's not set up entirely because yes, it will now harvest the items, but it will not it's not self-sufficient in the sake of it won't power itself. So what we need to do is, I'm actually probably going to do it underground. So I'm gonna well, first time I'm going to clear this area up, but we're going to have a little area underground here in this 17 by 17 area. And what we're going to basically have it do is it is going to go under here. It's then going to go into a canola press, which we're also going to have to power. So that's going to be a little bit of a pain. It's going to turn into refined canola oil. Then we're going to energize the seeds with a different atomic reconstructor. Those are then going to be placed into the refined oil, and that is then going to go into oil generators, which sounds possibly a little bit more complicated than it is. It's actually relatively simple when you actually know what you're doing with it. So I'm just going to clear up this area just by making it look a little bit nicer with the pathways and stuff. And you know, wait for this to power up, because we're going to need quite a bit of power, not only for this thing, but also for the canola presses, which have also got to still make, and all that stuff. So, yeah, I will be back in just a little bit once we have everything made for the next step. So a lot of work has been done. This is now set up. I put fences up. I've got a way of getting down to the underside of it, and this is working. Obviously right now I've got it set off, and it is transferring using item conduits over to these two drawers. Canola seeds on the left, canola on the right. Those are then being taken down with item conduits to these canola presses, which right now have no power, so they are not functioning. They just have the canola already in them. And then they are going with fluid conduits just straight into the fermenting barrel, which obviously require no power. So the only thing we got to do is quite simply just, you know, take power from the, the capacitor bank is most likely going to be on top, so we need to just probably filter it through there, down through the middle, and over here. Either that, or I'm going to do some wireless stuff, possibly. It is possible, so we might do that. But yeah, that is all done. And then we just need to move on to the next bit, which I want to do slightly over here for the moment. Now, this isn't going to be the final thing. In fact, the final, when we get all the materials ready, is going to be a 15 by 15 of each layer. So it's 15 by 15 canola presses, 15 by 15 fermenting barrels, then we're going to make a lot of energized seeds, and then, or crystallized seeds. Then at some point we're going to make empowered seeds. That's very far down the list. And then we're going to have another layer with the actually getting the crystallized oil, then the empowered oil, and then putting it into a 15 by 15 oil generator. Probably into, if we get to that point, a 15 by 15 capacitor bank, vibrant capacitor bank. But for now, we're just keeping it small. I have everything here that we need for the next bit, so we are just gonna quite simply just dig a few bits over here. It doesn't take too much space, actually, for the auto empowering. In fact, actually, we probably want to do it over here. I keep calling them empowered seeds. They're actually crystallized seeds, but it's relatively easy, and you only need a few items. In fact, those items being an atomic reconstructor, a vacuum chest, an item filter, an automatic precision dropper, and a wooden pressure plate. Or at least the way we're doing it. There is an extra item you can add into there, a block, which is called an inventory checker, but right now we're just going to go through all the seeds we've got, because we'll add that at a later point if we need to. But once this is all dug away, we're going to quickly do that, and we've got the capacitor bank. Again, this will all be moved eventually. Right now, it's very, very temporary, but we're going to put this here. The dropper will need to go here, so we need to change to a bat again. Fire bat. Just so I can place the automatic precision dropper there. And then we're going to have the atomic reconstructor there, which should be on pulse. So when that drops, that will go into there. We'll power that up quickly with some power. And then we're going to have a vacuum chest here. And we're going to need some crystallized seeds. Now, annoyingly, we can't fly with this, but I wonder if... Okay, I can't do that. That's fine. Kind of want to see what a fire bat on a glider looks like. Exactly how I expected it to be. So we're going to take 2 of these seeds, since we've only got 2 at the moment. They're going to come over to here. We're going to put 1... Oh, I need to... Okay. Active with signal. Active without signal? Never active. Fine. So, right. That's going to take that. We're going to put an item filter, and then that in there. Range down to nothing, pretty much, and always active. So, what's going to happen now is that will go in there. Drop down, that'll empower it, and go into here. That is now the crystallized canola seeds, all done and sorted. That is everything worked out. We just need to obviously power this later. I have plans for wireless power later, but again, so want to get this stuff sorted because we need to actually produce the power before we can send the power. So we're going to have to kind of kickstart it with a little bit of power, and then it will kind of go through the motions of sorting everything out. And again, this is very... very low level stuff at the moment, because I'm going to eventually have, I want to make sure that I have the canola presses going into a tank, a black hole tank, which is basically a deep storage unit, but for liquids, then going into the fermenting barrel, then going into another black hole tank, then going into the crystallizing oil thing, that going into a tank, and then going into the oil generators for the moment. But I can't make those at the moment, so it's going to be something we do later. But for now, those are all done. I'm going to have to hook that up, which shouldn't be too difficult. I've got the conduits for it. And then we just need to dig a little bit further down and set up this crystallizer thingy, which I still have to make all the items for. And then we'll get oil generators sorted, and then it should be working, hopefully. I really hope it works. Okay, so it's time for us to set up taking the crystallized canola seeds and putting it with what will be refined canola oil when we get here. And luckily I have a tank with a little bit of that in. So we're going to put that cobblestone block there and that tank there. That's going to just be where that will be, just so we can input into the tank. So then from there we need to take that, put it into a fluid placer, which I shall put... we should put it that side, I think. A fluid collector on the other side, facing that way. 2 scanners, and then an automatic precision dropper. So that was the wrong block. So we're going to have that there. Let's fill that in quickly. We're going to have 2 scanners, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for the scanner. I'll put this one here quickly. There we are. So what we can do quickly as well, since we have the tank, is I need to take 1 bucket of this. We're going to put it there, and annoyingly that's going to take it in there. So what we need to do is actually get rid of this for a second, place that there, and have one of the scanners, in this case it's going to be this one, and that is going to detect if there is refined canola oil there. If there is, we're going to then get it to output. But for the moment we're going to take that away, and then this one will be set to the crystallized one, which we can actually ever so quickly set up now. Just do that. And we'll take away this one again. There we are. So those 2 are set up and ready for when they actually get used. So coming off of this one, what we need to do is we need to have a bit of redstone conduit. And this should... I think I've done it in the right spot, and we'll change everything to look pretty later. There's going to be a sequencer there. We're then going to route that one around here. Let me get some more redstone conduit. And it's actually going to go down here. I realize we might... I don't know if the crescent hammer will work with it. I will have to check, but we might have to make a Yeta wrench quickly. Yeah, so we're going to have to make a Yeta wrench just to get this to work, but that's going to go there. So let me go quickly make a Yeta wrench, because I forgot I needed that for this thing, because otherwise these cables connect and it messes everything up. Right, so we got the Yeta wrench back. We need to disconnect this cable. This one, as far as I'm aware, the reason this normally breaks is because this actually does connect for some reason, but it just doesn't show, or at least that's what I found in my testing. And this is just going to basically be set up to go into there now. So we're going to set this to loop 4. We're going to just do it up here. So whenever there is refined canola oil in here, it is going to send a loop of redstone pulses to this thing, which should be on pulse mode, but we're going to have to change that in a second. There we are for that one. And then we need to set this one up. So this is just going to simply come out in this direction, do pretty much exactly the same thing, except for the other fluid. So we need to make sure it's in the right direction. Set up these redstone conduits. Going to make it not go into there, but do go into here. There we are. And we're going to once again set this to loop 4, loop it around. And then we're going to have to set up some item conduits to go to this dropper, which are going to go from this thing over here, which I think I was going to quickly set up a barrel, but I just need to grab the conduits first, don't I? Okay, so I've got all the cables now and a few fluid tanks. So what we're going to do is actually set that up going into a barrel, just so we've got some item, some extra buffer space. Then that is then going to go into this precision dropper, which we can just do pretty simply using this route here. So item conduits, and we can just go straight into it like that. Insert, take off extract, because we don't want to extract anything of it, obviously. And then, oh, this is going to be a little bit. There we are. So always extract. That's going to then go into there and set it up. This fluid tank, I'm going to place that one there just so it's there. And then these are going to go... oh yeah, we were going to have the tank one block above, which actually makes it quite easy. So that is good. Right. You're going to go there, and then we're going to have a ender fluid conduit take you that way, like that. So annoyingly, if, you know, the way this works, it will pick up any of the... It's not what I wanted you to do. Please work. I hope I haven't messed up. Why are you not doing that? So you're dropping, you're fine. You're on the wrong loop. You're only if it's crystallized oil. Yeah, you should... Oh, it's because it's on deactivation. That is why it's on pulse, it's supposed to be. So now, swapping these out, we should be fine. So that's a bucket into there. And then we'll put that bucket into there. So that is now 2,000 millibuckets of that fluid. And I've got a spare tank that we can just use as an extra bit of buffer before we get the black hole tanks. So we'll pull from there upwards. And now that will go into some oil generators, which means we're actually going to have to go down even further. So I'm going to go clear out this place properly a bit more. It's a bit all over the shop right now, but when we're actually doing all this, it will work out quite nicely. It will do a good job once we get it all up and running. And then as we get more power, we can set things up a bit better. And from there, we can start to actually, you know, make this place work better and look nicer. Okay, so everything should now be ready for us to have this very, very awkward setup work in our favor. So we had a few mobs down here. That means I definitely need to start lighting this place up again. But I have some ender energy conduits, some fluid conduits. So all we should need to do is take 9 conduits there, set that up to this. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll get it through the middle. In fact, actually, we'll do that. Again, very awkward, but I just want it to work for the moment, and I don't want to set it off of this fluid thing because that one's pushing into there, and etc, etc. But these should now, well, should be starting to receive some power. So some of these should have gotten some of that canola oil in there. So hopefully some of these are at least generating a tiny bit of power. Let's see if we can see any of them that have it. Any of you at all? Nope, okay. You still have that. Oh, it's because I haven't set it to extract yet. So these have all got a little bit, it looks like, in them, so that's nice. That's starting to create power. And what I've actually done is I decided, or I looked at the crafting recipe for the ender energy conduits, and if you look at them, it's quite expensive in terms of ender pearls, because we need 3 ender pearls per recipe. So what I've actually decided to do is skip a little bit of ahead of what I wanted to do, which is basically, after this was finished, I wanted to... it's not actually skipping too far ahead, but after this finished, I wanted to set up some wireless power, just because cabling all this up is going to be awkward, which it is. So what I'm going to do is set up this. I actually need to go get my capacitor, and then we're just going to quickly place this one down here. That should start getting some power input into it, which is quite a nice amount. It's obviously gonna change, but we have... I don't know where I put them, but we have them. Here they are. So this thing is a power cell. What we can then do with the power cell is we have the capacitor bank, obviously. For the moment, I'm going to place it underneath, so we'll have a little bit of a path down to here. Again, this is all going to be redone. Very, very temporary. That is going to be a way of holding power. That holds 1 million RF in it. So what we can do is we can output on that side, and then we need to set this so it's inputting. So that'll get 1 million RF. It should be 1 million RF, yep. And then we've got these power cell cards. So we're gonna go, we've got 4 of them, even though we have 3 power cells. I just made 4. We're gonna link those all into the same spot. Link ID 1. So that's gonna go in there. This is now ID 1, and then what we want to do is we're gonna come up here and we are going to put another one on top of this canola press, which, or not canola press, on top of the, whatever this thing's called. Farming station. So, need to do that. I actually realized I need 4 because I just remembered one I'm missing. I'll make another one, but we're going to have an end conduit there, and this is going to be set to out. We're going to link it like this. No, I don't want that. I want to link it like that. That now means that is 2 million RF. So it's kind of like a multi-block structure that is sort of linked separately. Like this now, because there's 2 of them, have 2 million RF. And then we have a third one, which is actually going to go up here ever so quickly and into this atomic reconstructor as well. So it's going to be very awkward cabling as usual, but should work out correctly if I do it the way I want to. So these are going to go each in here like that, and then we're going to have the power cell probably here, and then we can set it to output like that. So that's going to link again into that one. So 3 million RF, sending out power. And then, after that, all these 3 things should be powered, in theory. Obviously, we've not made a lot of all the powers going into here right now, which is a bit of a pain. So this is going to be always active. It's going to send stuff out, so we can keep that. We just need to kind of jump start the oil generation a little bit, which we are going to do manually, because you can actually hear, I have a sound muffler somewhere. I need to use that on the atomic reconstructor, because that thing is loud. Should be somewhere over here. Yep. And then we just need to get some canola oil, which I think we can... Well, we can do that sort of over here, right? Do we have... We have power going in here. So we're going to get a bunch of canola, set up some canola oil, and then that can go into the fermenter super quickly, and we can just give a bunch of power. If not, we can also just get a coal generator and a bunch of coal just to start off with as well. Just to give it that little boost to start with. So, but once this gets started, it'll be, you know, it'll be a very good thing to have. Right, that's going to go there. And then down here, we want to just put a coal generator for the moment, and we'll give it a quarter of a stack of coal. Just to give it that tiny little boost to get everything kind of kick-started for the moment. And I need to lock that at some point. But, yeah. What we can also do, and I need to do if I can, well, I won't do it right now because of the wiring, but we can actually set up an inventory checker onto this thing, which will then disable the dropper when it gets to a certain amount of items in that drawer. So we can set it to be like 800 or 1,000 or 500 or whatever we like. And as soon as that has that many items in it, this thing will stop dropping those. So we actually, you know, we're not wasting power, and we can keep a constant amount, and, you know, we have seeds up there ready to use as well. But this should start soon to create all this canola oil that we need, hopefully. The awkward thing is standing there because you'll pick up the items, but this thing has 0 power, which is a little frustrating. Because this is, I think, got priority up here. So once this is actually filled up with power, which is actually using more power. Where else is this power going then? I'm going to put the power straight into the energy cell. What is this powering otherwise then? It's powering that generator, or the atomic reconstructor. It's powering that. Or not. Right, I got an idea. This is taking far too long to work out, but I'm going to disable this for the moment. That's then going to increase in power. Once that reaches the top, then everything should start working. We just need that little bump to get all the crystallized canola seeds through before it'll actually start working. So another thing as well is this will stop the atomic reconstructor. Oh, we got a statue. This will stop the atomic reconstructor also working because it won't get any more seeds going through. So that'll be good. And then the other power cell we're going to use, we're going to just put where the thing normally was. The where the capacity used to be. That's all. So, right. So yeah, now it's just a case of waiting for a little while for this whole thing to do what it needs to do, because it's just going to take a while. Quite simply. Right, so I added more power generation. I added the coal generator, obviously, and I've made a culinary generator with my toast in it. In fact, because this is currently making power fine, I'm going to steal that back, because I have no real food otherwise. And this thing is getting quite a bit of power now, because the reason it wasn't working is because I found out that I did not yet connect the fermenting barrels to that fluid tank, which meant it wasn't going into here, which meant everything wasn't working. So as you can see right here, we currently have a full tank here, a filling tank here, and this is all going into these. The way I sort of got around the harvesting or the farming station being a pain is basically I just disconnected it pretty simply. I took the link card out and that stopped it doing anything, but I think we can add that back in. I just need to get rid of these guys because damn, I need to add a door, but I think these guys can destroy doors. I don't think we're on hard mode, I just think it's something they can do. I need to get a better sword. I need to just get better stuff. I have like no resources due to today. That's another zombie statue. Another one. That's a whole lot I've gotten. I think that's 3 now. Oh no, and my other villager died, that means. And you have the door for this building, I think. Or is that one of the upstairs doors? It might be. Let me check. Yes. I'm going to use the downstairs door, though, for that, because these guys are a pain. But yeah, this is all set up now, ready to work. I'm going to relink this card in, and then we'll set this to actually do its job. And the only problem we're going to have is the hose, but for the moment, I'm planning on just, or I'm thinking of just setting up a barrel, or a drawer rather, just full of obsidian hose, since they have 8,000 durability, and the material won't matter too much, because they all do the same job, and just do that. Or possibly setting up a crafter to make stone hose with a cobblestone generator near it, but I think this is probably easier because it's just got more durability, and obsidian is relatively easy to get. The only other things we need to get is a few upgrades in there just to get this thing over quicker, and just put that inventory checker in place just for later. Right now it won't matter too much, but for later it is going to be a helpful thing to have. So yeah, this should be fine. We just also need to upgrade these to black hole tanks because these only have 16 buckets worth of stuff in it, and this stuff's not going to work too well for the moment because once this fills up it won't do anything. So I guess it's kind of okay, but we just need to get everything doing good. So that's gonna go to 4 million RF, and then we got 5 million RF as a buffer there. Everything should be good with this very, very awkwardly set up thing, and I think I'm gonna leave it at that for now. This has taken me a very, very long time, longer than I had expected it to, honestly, since I felt like it went a lot quicker in my testing. But I guess I was in creative then, so that would make sense. I didn't have to craft everything up. But nonetheless, yeah, this is a good first step to getting, this is now sustainable power. It should be able to sustain itself, which is good. We just need to upgrade our capacitor bank if we can and get more in there. And then next episode, we will upgrade the other things I meant to upgrade. So it's kind of like a two-parter almost. We did 3 things today: the Grains of Infinity, the power cells, and the Canola Farm, which were 3 things I wanted to do. And there's 3 things I want to do after that, so I'll do those in the next episode. And they should help out as well with a lot of things. And now we have power and power cells to use that on. We can then power this mob farm, for example, just a little bit further away. It should all work out, and I don't think there's a limit, or as far as I'm aware, there's not a limit to how many power cells you can have. So it will all eventually, with every single power cell we add, we'll add 1 million RF that we can just hold in there. And then I just need to pretty this thing up because it's a little bit all over the shop. So I'm going to have the original plan was having a layer every, having a gap of 3, then the canola seeds, canola presses, then having a gap of 1, and then on here having the black hole tank, cables, fermenters, cables, black hole tank, cable, this thing, or a few of these things. I think I originally decided to put 4 in because we'd have more when we fill this up. 4 of these things, 1 in each corner, and then a 15 by 15 of oil generators. And then later on, we're going to have to adapt that even further to get empowered canola seeds. So we're going to actually have to have 2 layers of these. 1 layer for turning refined into crystallized, and then 1 layer for turning crystallized into empowered. Though I have heard there is a way you can do both at the same time, though I will have to look into that as a possibility, because that would make our lives a lot easier. But nonetheless, that should be it for now. Enough of me babbling on. Next episode, we'll get onto those, as I said. But as I said, very, very good first step in setting up everything, because we need power to do everything, and if we have power, we can do everything else. So that's going to be it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.